garden to drink Pimm's, and I thought I'll
So
just have
nice.
two
Yeah,
Pimm's.
Tom was just saying.
But I did not. So I wasn't smashed. It was over a long period of time, and I did stop. But I set my alarm for 9:30 to do the writing, and then next thing I knew, Tom said it's 10:30, and I went, "Oh no." Let's see if I can write this in. Okay, I'm going to need another half hour. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm, fan pointed
It's
at me.
not bad
I think
today,
it's
I don't
actually
think.
slightly better today. I mean, I nearly had a
Oh, it
shower in my
was
clothes yesterday,
impossible.
like in the hope that then I just would stay in
It was
wet
impossible.
clothes for
It
the
was
rest
impossible
of the
yesterday.
day. I do feel sorry for delivery drivers who must be witnessing. Anyway, having to work through the heat, but
I've
what
no
people
idea.
must be wearing,
I've no
what
idea.
people must be opening the
yes,
door in.
it's true. Actually, that's a really funny idea.
Horrendous.
It's like just as a montage of people standing there in their knickers and just
yeah,
dresses
exactly.
with holes in them and
damp tea
absolutely.
towels.
I know.
We've all gone feral.
I finally got into caftans.
Yeah,
Well,
I
Dawn
can see
Porter's
that.
been saying to me for years, "You'd look great in caftans," and I said, "No, Dawn, you look great in caftans. You're a sylph. I would look like the 94 bus is wearing a caftan."
No, not at all. You've got height, which is what I think you need
I gave
for a caftan.
I got a caftan to go on holidays because I thought it was holidays. It doesn't matter if I'm floating around by a pool in a caftan. And I love them. Dawn Porter was correct.
Yeah.
I now do waft around in caftans quite a lot.
Do you wear nothing underneath them?
No.
Like the Scotsman. They
Oh,
don't wear any pants under their kilts.
I was thinking of the Scotsman newspaper advertising no pants caftans.
4 stars.
Read like a 5.
I'm not looking. I'm not looking up there.
No. I like to wear pants because otherwise you get a bit. I think actually, pants keep you dry. Like otherwise you get a bit.
Or you go chub
nice.
rub. I actually slightly soak my knickers and put them in the freezer.
You wear frozen knickers
on really hot days.
I hope we're recording because this is an absolute scoop. Margaret Cabourn-Smith wears frozen knickers.
I tend not to do it. I tend to do it if I'm walking somewhere because obviously you do worry that if you sit on a tube seat, you're then literally leaving a puddle. Yeah. But to be honest, in this heat, everything's drying up so quickly that I'm just absorbing my icy
This is
knickers
not an ad for anything except menopause, to be honest.
I've done it for pre that. It's a good tip, I promise.
Listeners, if you're listening, Tom's going to put this out as a cold open. A really cold open. A frozen open.
Literally, super cold open.
Your summer tip, listeners, is freeze your knickers. All right. That's our frosty cold open.
Okay.
And now I'm going to do the opening titles. The Spontaneity Shop presents The Guilty Feminist Watchers and Just Like That, the Sex and the City Reheal, with me, Deborah Frances-White, and my very special guest, Margaret Cabourn-Smith. Season 3, Episode 7, They Wanna Have Fun. So, Margaret Cabourn-Smith, how are you feeling about this season of Just Like That in general? I will do a recap of the story in a minute. But just in general, how are you feeling about and Just Like That?
Well, I'm feeling... Listen, I'm happily watching them. Like, it's not a kind of... It's not painful. Well, it is sort of painful, but it's a very enjoyable pain.
So it's a sort of masochist watch.
It's not... Yeah, it's a masochist watch. And I know this is hack to say, but it is a bit like AI has written it. It is a bit like they've been given the prompts of what people want and they've just chucked a load of stuff at us and just sort of go, we don't need to resolve this, do we? We'll just throw in another thing and then another thing and then another thing. And I find it very frustrating.
They don't set up anything or resolve anything. They just have the thing.
No, it's very mild shenanigans. and
mild shenanigans with no resolution. It's a series. I've described it previously as a series of anecdotes that your friend might tell you but you wouldn't
Yes, exactly.
repeat.
And sort of quite badly told anecdotes. Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, at least expand on the anecdotes. It all just feels very mild and weak. I was watching it with my husband last night, and he did just at one point, oh, this is so boring. and I think there is that. Like every now and then he'd be watching it and he'd be really peering into it and sort of going, please, can something happen? Or please, can you say something insightful or whatever? And it was a conversation between Carrie and Aidan. And it was just like, I don't care. I don't care. And that's a really unacceptable thing, because I care about very mild things in my real life. You know, if you care about the people and whatever, you can sort of accept anything. But
there are scenes where it would be hard to care if it were your life. You'd be like,
yes, even your own life. Not even your friends.
If it were your own life, you'd be like, this is a dull day.
I don't care.
This is a dull day.
Dull day.
Or like that point where you don't care about your own drama. You know, when you get sick of your own drama, if you're having a breakup with someone or something and you're like, oh God, let's just...
God, your
friends saying, how's it going? You're going, I'm bored of thinking about it. Can we talk about you?
Yeah, I'm bored of my own
That's how sometimes I feel about it.
I don't know if you've read the Craig Brown memoir of Princess Margaret. It's called Mom.
No, but I'm not
Darling,
surprised
Ma'am
you
Darling,
have.
whatever. It's so good. It's so good. But one of the best things about it is that he talks about how mad he's gone writing it. And he said, like, there's one point where he says, at this point, this is the 5th version of this quite boring anecdote that I've read. And I feel like I'm going insane. I feel like I was there.
He says
and
that
it was
in the
boring
book.
at the time. And I'm trying to piece
Brilliant.
it. He says that in the book. Yeah. It's really, really funny. Like all the best bits in it are the bits that he's just made up. So.
Nice. The thing with the Princess Margaret biography, which was presumably written by Duncan, thrilling. Duncan the biographer.
Oh God! Oh my God! Let's get a thrilling opening chapter of Margaret Thatcher biography.
At least it's real story. This is not real, and someone's bothered to make it up. If you're going to make us, I absolutely understand when historical biography fiction, they're trying to kind of make something interesting out of a period of the Queen's life that wasn't that interesting. Absolutely get it.
Really dull, yeah.
But when you've got a blank page and literally anything can happen to these people, it does. I couldn't help but wonder, why have they written this?
There's a lot of not being able to help wondering all the way.
So shall I do the quick recap? Because some people
only
listen to this podcast, they don't watch the show anymore.
Well, it makes sense, to be honest. My parents only watch the You're Fired bits of The Apprentice. They don't watch The Apprentice. They watch the sister show.
Well,
it's very postmodern.
The You're Fired is very funny. I understand why. And also it makes it more exciting because you don't know what's happened. Yeah,
I don't know what's going to happen.
So in this week's episode, the girls just want to have fun, and so do we. But instead, the whole show is less Carrie Bradshaw and more karaoke. Carrie gushes to Duncan about his biography of Margaret Thatcher and calls the first chapter thrilling. A Margaret Thatcher biography? What? It's the first chapter. She's a greengrocer's daughter. And we know he wants to get into her bed because he calls her dubious historical fiction about the woman propulsive. Propulsive. Lily breaks up with a ballet dancer we've met twice and didn't like either time, and is acting the way she thinks someone's meant to act when they've had their heart broken. Giuseppe's mother turns out to be Patti LuPone, who at first has an Italian accent, but is originally from Buffalo, which we assume is the reason it kind of wears off. She doesn't like Anthony in any accent, thinking he's a foul-mouthed, aging, inappropriate boyfriend for her angelic son, which is a shame because Anthony's the only character we still love. But Patti LuPone, aka Gia, loves Carrie and bonds with her over terrible stepchildren, while they essentially eat their candy houses together. Harry still has prostate cancer in a rare continuing storyline, and it's still a huge secret, meaning hilarity ensues, and in a horrifying turn, cancer is the funniest storyline. Carrie knows and covers for Miranda by telling him it's Richard Burton the dog who has cancer, but it's terminal, and Charlotte finds out that Harry's personal shopper, which is the closest he has to a mistress, knows he has cancer until, after a series of Frasier-like misunderstandings, Harry finally rounds up all Charlotte's friends in the kitchen underscored by loud karaoke, and says, I have cancer. This has all been a laugh-tastic prostate cancer farce. Lol. Meanwhile, Seema, on an economy drive, makes an appointment at a downtown beauty salon and allows someone working class to do her eyelashes and consequently ends up with pore germs in her eye and has to fashion a Louis Vuitton eye patch out of a bum bag. This makes the working class gardener fall in love with her even more for no reason anyone can ever imagine. Seema, you're a McDougal now. And Lady Shatterley kisses her lover, not in a chauffeur-driven limousine, but a regular person taxi. A story of personal growth like no other. Miranda, thinking that Charlotte's dog is dying, abandons her personality and dislike of organised fun and gets exploding balloons in a karaoke machine. And then everyone, except Broadway icon Patti LuPone, sings karaoke. And that,
I'm guessing she was too expensive.
was this week's episode.
No, you know what? That is better than the episode. The recap was definitely
I
better
mean,
than the episode.
At this point,
I mean,
and I have been really, and listeners will know, when we first started recapping this, thinking people may or may not want it, and it became quite popular because other people were also wanting to watch it because of the sentimentality, but then finding it a difficult watch. So it became very popular, people writing in, DMing, things like that. So we keep this going. I was, at the beginning, we used to say Sex and the City's like family, and we're allowed to criticize family. And we were doing it very affectionately. But at this point, I feel like this show is like The Room. Have you seen that movie, The Room, which is meant to be the worst movie ever made, where random stuff happens,
Yes.
they just play.
Yeah.
And
yeah, they just cut away
and
from
listeners should not confuse this with the actually very good but scary movie about a man keeping a woman locked in a room.
No.
This is an iconic film made by a man who didn't know how to make movies, and really random stuff happens, never explained. And there's even a scene where the girlfriend's mother just suddenly says, the cancer's back, and then they don't discuss it, and it's never brought up again. And it's iconic for that reason. And it reminds me of last week, Lisa's father dying of some plot. And then it just we've never heard of him. We don't really know her well enough.
No, but have you seen the thing online where this is the second time he's died?
It's the second time he's died.
Yeah.
Like it's just out of nowhere. This week, Lisa's absolutely fine. She's at a party in fabulous frock. It's just something to do. Like, we want to deal with death. And it's like, when they deal with Miranda's mother's death in the original Sex and the City, that came out of nowhere. We didn't know her, but it mattered so much to Miranda. And it was dealt with so brilliantly and sensitively and dramatically. And then you can have the funny thing of Charlotte pays New York prices for Philadelphia flowers. And she's like...
Oh, yeah. Funny things happen
and
during...
funny things that do happen in funerals. They absolutely do. But
absolutely.
It's just this stuff that comes out of nowhere. And this week, it was honestly the two quote-unquote funny storylines were cancer and the idea that nobody outside Park Avenue knows how to do eyelashes. And I'm like, that's not true.
Oh, yeah.
That is not true. Often the best places are places like, if you want your nails done, it's all the downtown Asian nail salons.
Yeah. It's the
absolutely
alleyway.
The best. I have had, sometimes I used to get really bad pain. So if I flew to New York, I had a lot of back problems, which I've sorted out. But I was like, basically couldn't move unless I had a massage. So I'd get to New York and the flight would have done my back in. And I've had some, what you'd think would be fancy massages that were terrible. But you go downtown in Manhattan and you have a massage in a Chinese or a Korean place. And you've never had a massage like it. You feel 12 at the end.
Oh, I went to a place recently where I've been to a few places, and every time the receptionist, who is a tiny old lady, has loads and loads of needles sticking out of her face.
Brilliant.
and doesn't mention it. But I'm always I get a foot massage, and I'm always taken down to this sort of dungeon. Like it's horrible. It's it smells of damp. It's dark purple walls with a sort of, a forest cut out of a magazine on the wall. and she just destroys my feet, and I could not, I mean, no notes, could not love it more. And it's not,
100%.
it's obviously not expensive, and I can forego all of the niceties, windows,
100%.
you know.
You have massages
smells.
in wafty places that are very expensive with white curtains, and they are nowhere near as good as the kind of, you know, yeah, exactly.
Forensic.
You know, places where they really know what they're doing. It's not expensive at all. So I felt this was quite a snooty storyline that actually misunderstood.
It would have been better if it turned out she'd had an amazing
Asian.
one.
She's South Asian American. So I kind of feel, wouldn't she know? Like, you know, she would know places that did threading that were also brilliant at eyelashes and everything. And all those kind of, they're like craftspeople. The women that do threading, that is an ancient. I know threading's the opposite of it's having hair taken off, not hair put on, but it's a really old South Asian tradition, and they really know what they're doing, and they're very, very skilled. I would think Seema would know somewhere like that, where it was all cash in hand and add a tip, but they would also do other brilliant things very well, like eyelashes. So that really, to me, oh my God.
Grated.
And it was like a rare person with a kind of working class accent. And the joke was, he was pretty brutal. He was going to do a fast job and a bad job and then give her an infection.
Yeah. I mean, I sort of forgave it. This is like an acting thing, really, but I thought his performance was so good. Like I thought he was so fun, and believable in a way that, you know, it's really interesting, isn't it, when something can be really mannered? And I mean, all the performances in this show are mannered, but it just felt completely. He felt completely real, and, you know, even it didn't seem to care that he was going to do a good job, but not in a, you know,
it was very camp and fun. And I would have no problem with that. If there were other representations of downtown New York that were good. So if then she goes to a salon that's similar, but it's great. She's gone to the wrong one. Her friends recommended it, and she's like, "No, I didn't say 66. I said 69."
Yeah, totally.
And she's like, "Oh my God, no! Don't go to him. He's he's terrible. It's the guy down the road." But it was like, I've left Park Avenue, and this is what I can expect. And meanwhile, she's eschewing the advances of this working class gardener by saying, who doesn't actually seem working class. He seems much more like he's been to. I think he's been to horticulture school, and he reads to me as somebody who is been to university and wants to be a creative landscape gardener.
Yeah, he's going to turn out to be loaded. You know,
I expect so. But she keeps talking to him as if get back in the garden and finish. She keeps slightly domming him, but again in a class-ridden way. She's like, "You should be in the garden, being dirty." It's almost like a sexual.
Yeah, I don't know exactly. And I feel like it's written like that, but actually the chemistry isn't really there with those two. You know, she says he's hot. Almost, the first time she met him, she was like, "Oh, he's hot," and I didn't even buy that. And then their conversation, they're trying to do banter. I mean, this is the upsetting thing about And Just Like That. It did used to be the thing they did well, was that kind of rat-tat
screwball banter.
Just proper
flirty back and
proper
forth
chat.
A lot of wordplay.
They're not managing. She didn't even manage to snort properly, and there was supposed to be a joke about how she snorted.
She's being very rude to him, and the reason she's being rude to him is she thinks he has a yoga girlfriend, and she says, "No, you and your yoga girlfriend, blah blah blah." So she keeps eschewing his advances because she thinks he's with someone else. I know this is what it's meant to be about because I listened to the And Just Like That Writers' Room podcast. That's how I decode what a lot of this is meant to be about, because they tell me. So I go,
he's not even really advancing on her properly.
It's very odd. But
do you know what I mean?
She's saying, no, you've got a girlfriend. No, you've got a girlfriend. Stop hitting on me. But she's doing it by saying, you put your dirty gardener finger in my eye.
Yeah, some working class person
But
did this to me, for sure. Whatever this is in my eye, it's one of you
who
fuckers.
works with your hands. It's disgusting.
Exactly.
Why did I let any hands that work with hands near me? But Michael Patrick King assures us on the podcast it wasn't him, because they made sure it was clear he washed his hands. So she fancies him. Michael Patrick King explains to me on a podcast, but
she's really trying to fancy him.
Doesn't want to get involved because he's got a girlfriend and she's not like that. And so it's this great moment at the party where he says, no, I ended it with my girlfriend the moment I smelt your perfume, which they thought was a really, really great line. They were very self-congratulatory about that line. I was like, I don't really want a man to fancy me because I wear Chanel Chance Eau Fresh.
To dump someone.
Because
to
I wear
dump
Chanel Chance Eau Fresh.
I
think if a man said that to me, I'd say, it's available at all good department stores.
Yeah, you buy it. You know, exactly. Just go and
but
put some on your
literally
t-shirt
buy it for your
if
girlfriend.
that's what you need. Yes,
I
exactly.
can give you a half-empty bottle, to be honest.
That's so
smell my
true.
perfume. Like, really, that is not the thing about me you got to leave someone else for. But I understand it's meant to be I understand it's a romantic line. It's basically saying I was lured in.
And we had that thing earlier where
her
previous boyfriend hated her perfume. Do you remember in the car? He says, "What's that? You know, that smell." And then she's like, "That's my perfume." So clearly, maybe that's the only thing about Seema. Maybe that's literally all she has. Is her
think
perfume.
That's really interesting. So, no, do you know why I think that's great? And I'd love to think the writers had put that much thought into it and it wasn't an accident.
I don't think they can remember that far back
in their podcast.
What's that's like 4 episodes.
They didn't.
Did they not?
No, that's the first time I've heard this and I listened to their whole podcast. But if a man has criticised something about you and then another man loves that thing about you, I think that is quite alluring.
Yeah. Oh, and if they'd managed to draw attention to that, or because this is the one of the weird things I think is that they don't talk to each other enough. It's meant to be about female friendship and whatever. Why, for example, are Carrie and Charlotte not talking constantly about what the fuck has happened to Miranda? Why is she constantly why is she a completely different person than when we met her? And what she was like for years and years. What's going on there? I'm not saying that can't happen. It does, we've all lived long enough to know people who've really, really changed. Yes. But you talk about it. You talk about it a lot. With them or behind their back, it's an interesting thing. And instead, it's just like, Miranda's like this now. Let's do some weak shenanigans.
They don't seem to have noticed. But also, in season 1, she declared herself, after all of these years drinking umpteen Cosmos and getting on with her job as a high-powered lawyer. And once getting so drunk on a date with a man she thought was too hot for her, getting so drunk, he suggested she go to AA. She's declared herself an alcoholic.
Yeah.
And that has just been dropped. She now goes to meetings. She occasionally refers to drinking No Secco or some other faux cocktail name. And she occasionally goes,
this is the best mineral water in the city. Yeah.
Oh my God. And there's no tension with that at all. It's just such a strange thing to do. It's like they want to deal with something. They want to go, look, what if Miranda's hit a point in her life? And I think it can happen that someone is not an alcoholic, but then they go through a divorce and they, at midlife hits, they've got a difficult teenager and and they think, hold on, I really am drinking too much. And I think this has been all a low-level problem in my life. It's now a high-level problem and I'm getting older and I need to fix it. Absolutely. Lots of people stop drinking in midlife or late midlife. But I'm like, why are you bringing it up if there's no stories to be had out of it? If there's no tension to be had out of it? It's just like, she goes to the program, she's fine. And now the stories you get out of it are her saying, oh, I'll have a no grony or a faux grony.
A mocktail. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. It's absolutely pathetic. It's the same as I'm expecting Harry's cancer to be very much cleared up, like
it will be, and
cold.
It will never be mentioned again.
you know, we're like, oh no, you have the operation and then everything's fine, and it doesn't really
the way
affect
they're
you
dealing with it. There's no
again
way it can be
after
more,
that until
because it's all
no, they absolutely won't.
It's all Frasier plotlines. It's all like, I've brought treats for your dog that are the wrong kind of treats. I'm going to say to Harry in the kitchen, oh, she'll get over it. We'll be there for her. And he thinks they're talking about me, you know. It's all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So it can't be leading to anything serious.
I mean, I made some notes while watching it, and I've just written dog cancer 3 times in 3 different places. I do think it's really funny that it's like, well, who told her not to mention the dog cancer to people? What the dog has said, please don't, I've got cancer, but please don't mention this to anyone. Why is that a thing that she wouldn't be talking to her friends
Carrie
about? It makes no sense.
She's so upset about it, she doesn't want to talk about it, which Miranda would buy, but Miranda would not buy that she wouldn't say to Miranda, look, my dog's got cancer, I just don't want to talk about it, but, you know.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you do. You say, I mean, yeah, totally, you might not want to talk about it.
You say, oh, can we just not discuss it? But, you know, that's the thing that's weighing on my mind, but let's not get into it. It's absurd. And the idea that if somebody's really down because their dog's got cancer, what they want is 1 million people in karaoke and popping balloons. That's the last thing you want. If you're really down because your dog or whoever is...
Yeah, Charlotte's never shown any sign of wanting fun before.
Not this kind of karaoke fun. What I would want, and Margaret, you need to know this because you're one of my friends.
Okay, I'm writing it down.
If I was going through a really hard time and my husband was ill or my cat was terminal and it was my birthday, I would want you and my friends to be sensitive enough to know that I wouldn't want a room full of everyone I'd ever met that I have to smile at. I wouldn't want a crown. wouldn't want balloons that just popped and spilled confetti on me at will. Wouldn't. Absolutely wouldn't. Nerves would be frayed.
Fills your house
Definitely
with
don't want that. What I want is you and some of my other friends to take me for a girls' night dinner where we can sit in the corner of a restaurant, or I come over to one of your houses and we have a really good chat.
Cry if we need to.
Cake. I would definitely want cake. Lots of dessert options. Cocktails, yes. Those are the things I want. Some warming shepherd's pie or something like that. Something homely. But I want it to be somewhere I can take my shoes off, somewhere I only have to talk to people I already love and who get me and know me, and I don't have to work hard. No small talk.
Not Patti LuPone.
I am quite clear.
You'll deal with Patti
LuPone. I'm very excited to meet Patti LuPone, although lately she's blotted her copybook rather drastically, but she has said a very effusive sorry.
Yeah, she did a decent apology.
Yeah. And I believe in redemption.
Also, Deb, she's very busy. She not only has little Twinkini as her son, but also Frasier is her nephew, and Frank from 30 Rock is also her son. The woman is very busy.
I see. Because of
the character, Patti LuPone has now done cameos. So many extravagant Mediterranean
sitcom mums and aunts and mother-in-laws and grands and all the rest.
By the way, she had that boy when she was, I worked out, I think 47, and his father would have been 76. And I'm hoping they bring this up at some point, because that's an interesting part of the story. So yeah, her teenage stepsons don't like her. And then 20 years later, she has another kid with this old guy.
Oh, that's so interesting. That is so interesting. They're not great with timelines on this show, I have to say. They've not put that.
No, they're really not. I mean, they might have shaved 20 years off her.
I suspect they have.
It's very easily done in Hollywood.
Good for her age. Can I ask you what you think about what I think is the only interesting, I couldn't call it a storyline, but sort of hinted a storyline on this episode, which is Carrie denying to herself that she likes Duncan. The two of them are really overly effusive about each other's books. Given what the books are.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Have you read? I mean, the woman, what is it?
Not ideal. It's not ideal.
It's so bad. It's like one of the worst opening lines.
Oh, it's the woman
ever.
Wondered what she'd gotten herself into.
Wondered what she'd gotten herself into. And I know Americans do say gotten.
I'm just
It's
like,
poor.
oh. Do you know Dawson, who does an And Just Like That recap podcast as part of her Sex and the City recap podcast? She described it to me the other day as
Oh no.
something like GCSE, like English comprehension. So it's like, what does
Yeah.
this mean, or break this down, or something like that.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
it
It's
is,
translated.
to be fair, hard to. It's like, always like if someone's a painter, to show a painting good enough. If someone's a writer,
agreed. And music as well. It's really hard.
Write a pop song that's meant to be the hit pop song that's got this person in the charts. That is always difficult. But
Yeah.
I think they used to be
But they
good
have not
at
put
Sex and the
enough
City.
work in.
Carrie's
they did.
stuff used to sound really good. And of a level that you go, I know why people are into her writing. And this is,
yes.
Why didn't they get, if I were doing this show and I felt like we couldn't quite get there with it, I would have asked a contemporary historical fiction writer who was already in the New York Times bestselling charts. And I would have said, look, if we slip you some money and give you a credit on Sex and the City, would you write us these little segues? And they would have been probably flattered to do that because it's such an iconic brand. And then they would have had something actually quite good. And I feel like this, but maybe it just indicates how much Duncan fancies her.
Well, there is that. Yeah, that's good that he's happy with the woman. I mean, he seems to be even taken by those two words being the first two words of her book. The woman. Oh my God, I was propelled. Wow, I was propelled so hard.
God.
So
propelled
fast.
into your knickers.
But he...
I get it.
Thrilling, Deborah, thrilling. He wrote a thrilling chapter.
Around in her high heels, takes them off for him. She's already taken her shoes off for him, and he's not even got into her bedroom yet. So, I get it. I absolutely get it.
This is already better than the writing on the show.
This is the storyline I am interested in, because here is downstairs a man who he can have a conversation on her level. Meanwhile, Aidan is in Virginia. He's just a different kind of guy. This is not a snobby, he's not a great intellect, but he's a man who, makes furniture, has image, he's a visual designer. He's not a words guy. And if you are a writer, having somebody who can deconstruct your second act is sexy. Having someone who goes,
Definitely. Stop trying to make Aidan work. That is what I say to the writers and to her. I get it. Like he was the other big love of her life, right? So I feel like, if I'm being generous, I feel like they're writing it so that she is trying to make that story work. So she gets the other story, the other big love of her life.
Yeah.
She gets to live out that story rather than admitting
it's just
I
not
tried
what it was.
And this is not.
It's not what it was.
No, it's not what it was. I've got everything out of it that I was ever going to get.
When they were
and that's
young
fine.
Little hotties trying to make their way in New York City, what they had in common was that they massively fancied each other. They didn't have anything else in common, and that's ultimately why they split up.
Yes!
He was an old-fashioned guy who wanted to get married and have kids and ultimately move out of New York. She was a new-fashioned girl who didn't want to commit. And also was holding this candle for another man and didn't want to cook. Didn't want to raise kids. And, and now he is that guy. Alison Spittle, on this podcast a few weeks ago, said, I think we need to be honest, he's an anti-vaxxer. And to be honest, I think
he's covering it.
So they're just so opposite now in every conceivable way. And he has that old school life, and she can't penetrate it, and nor can he escape it. So also, except for little brief flits.
One of the attractive things about him was that he adored her, right? And that, and we can all be swayed by that. But the fact that he was at the end of the last series when we can't really be in anything until I sort out my kids, so I'm going there. That is someone who is not prioritizing you. And listen, he absolutely should prioritize his kids. I get that. But if he is not finding the space for you in his life, that's a turn off. No, that's something where you're like, particularly for Carrie, who only really cares about herself and wants to be central in everybody's life. Like she's not gonna.
They have nothing in common.
Lives far
Their
away.
lives are totally different. He doesn't really have that same devotion to her anymore that he used to have. I'm like, there are other fanciful men, and one of them is
Yes!
right under,
Has a
one of
pipe
them
and
is
lives
right
downstairs.
under your stilettoed feet, my friend. And he has a pipe. He lives downstairs. He's writing a book. You're writing a book. You've got so much to talk about. All you have to do is fall out of bed onto him, and there he is. To be fair, the biggest
Yeah.
turn off is he's writing about Margaret Thatcher. That is not a sexy topic. Why did
I
they
know.
give
I don't
him
know
that?
what
Why
she
didn't they give
thinks
him
Margaret
Edith
Thatcher.
Wharton or something?
It's so funny.
Dorothy Parker.
I think Americans might think she's a bit different. I think maybe that first chapter is about the fact that she was on the team that invented Mr. Whippy ice cream.
You know what?
That's a bit
On the And Just
thrilling.
Like That Writers' Room podcast, they say that it was their great sadness they couldn't get that fact into the show. They really tried, but it kept ending up on the cutting room floor. But they really wanted the fact to get in that she invented Mr. Whippy ice cream.
Wow. Okay, so that's the first chapter.
So
it's all
I guess
about
it's
that.
the Mr. Whippy of it all.
And maybe it's really
I guess
sexy.
it's the Mr. Whippy of it all. So
I love the idea that that's what Americans like about her.
Do they have Mr. Whippy over there? Maybe that just sounds like another S&M detail to them.
Yes. Yeah, they probably...
Soft
no, they call it
serve,
soft serve,
serve,
do
yeah.
they? Is that the right thing? Yeah.
So
soft serve. You'd absolutely... I mean, if Samantha was around, that you could do all kinds of things about soft serve.
If only. If damn only. But the argument with Miranda that she has after the party is interesting.
Yes.
They're outside having a little smoke and a little flirt.
Liked that. Yeah.
And her going outside to smoke with a man is so Easter eggy Sex and the City to the extent
old school,
extent of, do you remember an iconic time that she ended up having a smoke outside with another man where they also had cake? Well, there was that, but they also had cake, and it was out a back door. She goes outside for a smoke, and a man is out there, a man who would never normally smoke is out there with a cigar, and she goes, I can't believe you're smoking now. And they have cake, and he says, is that all you can carry? Because she's got a drink and a cake and a cigarette. Do you remember who that was?
No, I don't. Is it
Aidan? It was Aidan at his bar opening party.
And if I thought the writers were paying attention, then I would think that was relevant. But I
don't think they're paying attention. But I believe in
Okay. But for us, we're making
authorial
this,
intent is nothing.
In our heads.
Authorial
we're
intent is
putting this
nothing.
together.
We see all sorts of things in
reader theory.
We see all sorts of things in things that are there, whether or not, and also they might be there subconsciously on a level for Michael Patrick King, even if he doesn't know, because he's written.
Definitely. Oh no, Dolly Parton. If people are always, I mean, she's so great anyway, but people are always coming up to her with theories about her songs, and and she will always just say, if you think it's there, it's there, and she doesn't sort of dismiss it. She just really appreciates.
If you think it's there in some way, it is there. In some level, it is there.
Yeah, in the way that what you don't always understand what you're doing.
We see things in
none
Shakespeare
of us do.
that Shakespeare couldn't possibly have seen because these things weren't invented. But there's a sort of universal truth or a humanity in it that allows it to be alive.
Yeah.
And that's why we keep doing his plays.
Done it well enough.
Apart from the fact that we can't think of anything else to do. They're really,
cheap.
really cheap. This argument she had with Miranda, which I think was an interesting scene.
Yeah.
She does seem unreasonably rude to and snappy with Miranda now. Is that because Miranda's like her sister, so she can snap at Miranda?
Yeah, I would say that. And I think that, I think Miranda was always my girl, and I do find her much more annoying these days. That sort of like, you were saying about abandoning your personality and being all karaoke and, just so all of that, trying to get people up to do the karaoke stuff. I was just like, what? This is awful. I'd feel really, really irritated. But also Miranda knows where the bodies are. Miranda knows everything about her, knows her better than herself. And that is annoying, especially when you know that what you're doing is a bit, pathetic. This thing with Aidan, I do find it pathetic that she
said to him, you don't know where you are. Figure out where you are. Get back to me.
So let's just leave this. Let's leave this. And
when you are available to be with me,
done.
If that ever happens, call me and I'll see where I am. But I'm not waiting.
I thought that's what the last exactly. I thought that's what the last series was meant to be, but they've obviously decided no. I don't know if they've paid for John Corbett or it's just like, well,
Dribs
we might as
and
well use it. I
drabs
don't know.
is
I
all
don't get
she's
it.
getting. But
Dribs
meanwhile,
and
there's this
drabs.
perfect guy downstairs. Now, to be fair, he's only going to be in New York 6 months of the year, but
Yeah.
he could be there longer. He seems to own this flat or rent it. Or she could go to London,
Yeah. Yeah, she loves that shit. She also really likes being on her own, I think. Like, I think maybe
6 months of the year he's
every
there.
year
And also
would be
in
fine.
the other 6 months, they have long weekends in New York and London and, a bit back and forth. She goes over.
Exactly. I'm now seeing the appeal of this, and I'm thinking of dumping my husband who's in the next room.
He could just send him to New York for 6 months a year and then have sexy trips over there.
Yeah.
I think this argument, which is interesting because it betrayed a lot of her guilt. Why she would have guilt when last week he shagged his ex-wife, we don't know, but people still do. I understand that. She still wants to make this work with Aidan, and she's like, no, I'm in a relationship. I'm committing to this. And she feels these feelings for the new guy coming in, and she's like, it's just colleagues.
Yeah.
It's just a sip of scotch. It's just a laugh. It doesn't mean anything more. And she's denying it to herself while being very mean to her best friend. But I thought it was an interesting scene that had some old Sex and City flair.
And I thought it 100%. It rang true. And I was watching it, and I was feeling for Miranda and sort of thinking, oh God, I've been in that situation so many times. Where like, oh God, I thought the fun party debrief thing. So I mean, the whole flirting with someone, that's fun chat, no? And if someone is actually secure in their relationship, they don't mind having it pointed out that I saw you flirting with so-and-so in the corner. It's like, I did that. That was fun. That was
jokingly
a laugh,
deny it,
but you're right.
With
It's
joy.
because she
like,
feels bad.
What? I wasn't flirting.
Yeah.
That wasn't flirting.
Exactly.
He was flirting with me. I was trying to get rid of him.
Exactly.
But there's a
that
sort of
thing.
laugh to it. There's a joy to it. There's not. You will only get defensive like that if there's something there.
If there's something wrong.
If she felt very secure with Aidan, she'd just say, I might have been having a little flirt. Girls just want to have fun.
Yeah. Or she might have said, maybe I should watch that. Maybe you're right. Maybe I was enjoying that a bit much. If I want things to work with Aidan, I'm going to have to, I suppose that's the sort of sensible grown-up way. But instead of going, oh, shit.
Ironically, she acted like Margaret Thatcher.
Just like Thatcher.
I'm always Miranda in that situation. I'm never the one.
Yeah, me too. Maybe that's why
I'm always the one going, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it like that. That was, I shouldn't have said that. Like, I don't like confrontation. And also I don't want to fight over nothing. That's not a thing really.
Yeah.
If something needs to be sorted out, I will woman up and sort it out. But if it's just a misunderstanding or it was just a fun remark.
Exactly. It was just
apologise.
A kind of little prod.
I won't get into arguments that aren't real.
But you will notice it, won't you? Like I now am thinking, okay, what's going to happen next? Because there's truth there.
Hello, Guilty Feminists. We have shows at Soho Theatre on the 18th and 19th of July at 9:15 p.m. We are back live. Both nights we're showcasing some brilliant artists who will be at the Edinburgh Festival, with your faves doing 5 to 10 minutes of their fringe shows, including Grace Petrie, Jess Robinson, Sakisa and more. If you are not going to be able to get up to Edinburgh this year, this is a brilliant way of having mini microwave Edinburgh in London. If you are able to get up to Edinburgh, this is a brilliant way of window shopping to see which shows you might like to see in full. If you can't get to either show, you will be able to hear all of this on The Guilty Feminist, of course. For tickets, go to guiltyfeminist.com and click on live shows.
Oh, by the way, at the very end of the episode, when what is the stupid line at the end? The woman clung to what she knew to be true. Was that it? Is that a cat?
I know
is the cat true?
Because I heard Michael Patrick Higgs say it on his podcast.
Oh yeah. All right. Yes. Can say the other thing is that straight after that voiceover thing, she says to the cat, "It's fine." And I was wondering if it was, I know to be true that it's fine.
What I know to be true right now, according to the podcast, what I know to be true right now is I'm with Aidan, but then the balloon pops, and that questions it. It's like, okay. So
confetti.
I've got
balls
2
on the cat.
games.
I
No,
was
it wasn't
hoping it
about
was
the
about
cat,
the
but
cat.
I've got 2 games.
Okay.
One is, and you can choose which one goes first. One is Easter eggs. When have we seen this before in Sex and the City? So I ask the questions and you answer. The other is
Okay.
I do the rewriters
All right.
room, where I have rewritten the theme as I found a theme in it and tried to bring it out.
Did you?
Because
By the way, I was really excited that they were going to use Girls Just Want to Have Fun, because Cyndi Lauper charges a lot of money. And then they didn't do that. And I felt
so
totally like I'd been
weird.
brought to orgasm and then
I
left with blue balls.
did have a bit in my original recap about the edging of that song, and I cut it out because I thought this recap's too long. But I was like,
The episode is named that.
It was like edging. They kept playing.
They can't get any girls to have fun.
And there's an Easter egg there. When have we seen all 4 of the former leads do karaoke?
Well, this was going to be one of my queries, was that surely when Miranda's going, "Come up, Charlotte, come up," she would have said, "Don't you remember that terrible time we were in Abu Dhabi and we sang really weakly that song?"
Exactly.
And everybody felt embarrassed. Let's relive that.
Remember Abu
that's
Dhabi,
what I would say
because in the second
to my
movie,
friends,
for real fans who could get through that second movie,
makes me I mean, I think it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. In the 10 minutes in, you're like, how is this still going?
How is this hate crime
is there still 3 more hours of this?
So I believe, and regular listeners know this, I believe that in the original Sex and the City, the fact that every episode was strongly themed, that theme and Carrie's monologue, which was her column, did a lot of heavy lifting. So if there was one very light storyline about Miranda's TiVo getting deleted, it didn't matter, because Carrie would say from TiVo to Stevo, and we would realize she would explain to us in a fun way that this was really about her missing Steve, who used to do things like this for her. And so it was a very light storyline, but it brought in
a bit of subtext.
If there was a very light storyline, it didn't matter, because it was all about the theme of office romance, or whatever it was. Okay, so this week my theme is secrets, and this is my Carrie Bradshaw monologue and segues. With Harry asking Charlotte to keep his diagnosis secret, and me keeping that secret from Miranda, I couldn't help wondering, what secrets are we keeping even from ourselves?
That's very nice.
Seema was keeping her eye covered with a designer patch, but like any good pirate, keeping her real treasure, her desire for my gardener, buried much deeper. Harry, it turned out, had lots of secrets, including the fact that he was seeing another woman, Bonnie, his personal gift buyer, who had purchased every secret surprise Charlotte had ever received over the years. Meanwhile, Miranda was bringing the joy to the party, metaphorically and literally, except the real joy didn't know she was carrying secret cargo and spilled the beans all over the party. After the party wound down, Miranda confronted me with a secret I wasn't even admitting to myself. Did I have feelings for Duncan, the brilliant writer downstairs? And was he really more on my level than Aidan far away in Virginia? This was a cat I wasn't ready to let out of the Fendi bag. So I sat with my cat shoe in the middle of my empty apartment and admitted nothing. Balloon pops, secret confetti comes out, spills all over the floor.
Very nice.
See where I'm going with this? It would.
Yeah, I do. You've done really good work. I think you should send it to
I've got
Michael
one
Patrick
for
King.
every episode of this season. The first one was the Pied Piper, because she had all the rats, and it was the career, the university, the college whisperer. She's trying to lead all their children into the Ivy League, and there were so many Pied Piper references in that were they were there everywhere, but nobody said the Pied Piper. And I think in the old days they would have. And and I've been able to do one of these on every one. The only one where I was able to use their theme was last week with the silent mode, because they had things like Seema had a whisper listing, which is a a private real estate listing that nobody ever knows about. And that's sort of whisper, like silent mode. There's so many silent references in last
okay,
week's,
yeah.
but nobody's linking them together. And I feel if they were, we would be seduced into thinking it wasn't quite so bad.
Yeah, because listen, that's probably the case with the old one as well. I mean, it was definitely superior, but it was also laughably, laughably weak and tenuous sometimes.
Is there anything you would do differently in this, or is there everything you would do differently?
I would have a big comeback as Godzilla and destroy New York.
Great
Something
pitch.
like that.
You're hired.
Thank you. I would just, and I know, like, this is almost the other way, but this is what as I say, I think it's about female friendship, and they just don't talk enough, and they don't kind of talk deeply enough, and they don't talk about the past enough. I think it's fascinating that all over the internet, everyone's talking about the old Sex and the City and sort of going, but Miranda wouldn't have done this, and going, why is Charlotte like this now when this happened before? And I get that recapping is not what you want to do in a sort of, long-awaited sequel. But it does feel like they're letting this stuff just go and just sort of sticking in new random plot shit. And I would do a bottle episode and have Miranda and Carrie talk about what's going on with them. I'd happily watch that. Watch a whole series of that, but I know I'm odd.
Could be a montage of them walking through different areas of New York or in different cool restaurants. And
well, that's what you miss, isn't it? It's those, so walking
many,
through, exactly.
What's the edgy restaurant or whatever. So Easter egg game.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've already got one of them right.
Yes, you have.
Gold star.
Rock.
I'm a woman, hear me roar. I have a theory that they couldn't get the rights to any better song than that. So they did I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar, and they all sang it really, really softly and weakly.
I feel like they can afford it.
I mean, I hate it. All the terrible things in that film. You would think maybe there was just a ban put on. It should have been I'm Every Woman, right? That's what you want. Proper, like, good, upbeat disco anthem. But instead,
well, at least they bloody sang it, as opposed to this week it was da 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 da. For all the fluffing, we never got there. Why didn't they just let Carrie and Charlotte and Miranda and Seema and Lisa, if they want the new, leads in, sing Girls Just Want to Have Fun? I don't understand that. Even if it was just Carrie, Miranda and Charlotte.
I didn't understand what the point of the karaoke was, because they seemed to keep wanting to do and it turns out someone really good at singing is going to sing. But everyone was quite good. And then they just had, Bitsy sort of creaming herself
very strange
over
as well.
that little boy. But I didn't know what the point of that. I was just like, young Giuseppe.
I did understand it. Lisa's son, Henry, sings sad, iconic show tunes. And apparently he is a Broadway star. He played the young Michael Jackson in the Michael Jackson musical on Broadway. And they said that they contacted him and his mum and said, would you sing karaoke in this episode? And they were like, yeah, of course. That'd be brilliant. And they said, well, what songs could you already sing? Which is how they always do it. And I know that's how they always do it, because whenever my friend is in a show where they sing karaoke, they always sing a song I've seen them sing at a party. So I think you've been asked, what's your karaoke song?
That's their thing. Yeah.
Lolly Adefope in Shrill sings In the Shallow, that song from Star is Born. And I saw her do that at a musical where comedians sing songs from musicals. Absolutely brilliant both times. Absolutely iconic. And I also saw Ed Weeks, who used to be in Edinburgh with us back in the day, on the Mindy Project, sing La Bamba, which I know is a classic of his, because I think his mum's Spanish. So I knew that. So they rang Henry in real life and said, what do you sing? And they said he came back with a list of songs that were all these Broadway classics, like from Les Mis. And then Michael Patrick King said there was no rap at all. And I just was like, are you implying because this
God, that's embarrassing.
That's
so embarrassing.
Showbiz boy is black, he should have had hip hop? Are you kidding?
God.
I was like, are you kidding? But they kind of laughed about it, like, wow, he had all these songs from Les Mis.
There was God. We thought he was going to do all of Hamilton.
I don't even think that. I think they wanted him to do Gangster's Paradise.
No. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Imagine.
Which, to be fair, would have been great.
And I was like, oh my God, Michael Patrick King, you basically said we were surprised he wasn't more urban.
Come on.
So the joke was this kid was doing these songs and...
Oh, I see. Well, we meant to find that funny as well, that he was just singing beautiful.
Well, I think the joke was for us that he was singing sad songs. It was meant to be a fun party and he was doing French Revolutionary sad songs.
Yeah.
And then Bitsy von Muffling forces Giuseppe, who she doesn't realise is gay for some reason, into doing In the Shallow, the Lolliadophobic classic.
I suppose that is her thing.
And then the gardener sings Betty Davis I to Seema.
Which I was sad he didn't sing all of the, like he didn't sing Twy and, rhyme doodle the proper rhymes like that. It would have been
the pitch.
Not enough people are properly silly. If I would have been, I would have absolutely made him do all of that and hit them really hard.
But why do it? If Miranda and Charlotte and Carrie don't want to sing karaoke, who are our great loves, why are we watching people we don't really know do karaoke? It's so weird. And why not get Patti LuPone to do karaoke? Of course she would have done it. I'm sure she would have done it. It's mad.
Yeah.
Literally quite mad.
Yeah. Do her version.
It's insane. Okay, some Easter eggs.
Yep.
Rock says to Lily, I saw Mom crying in the pantry. So you have to come to the party. Where have we seen Charlotte crying in the pantry before? And how do we know she's been crying in that same pantry since those children were small?
Oh, is it about Miranda's baby shower?
Nope.
Is it something about Elizabeth Taylor?
Lily was already born. And Rock wasn't born.
Oh, okay. No, I don't.
It's in, I think, the first movie. She's wanted motherhood for so long. Now Lily's a small child. And I think she gets pregnant with Rock. And she is making cupcakes with Lily, trying to be a good mother. But unfortunately, she's doing that for a reason no one could possibly understand, in a white vintage Chanel skirt. And it's some vintage thing that can never be replaced. And a straight skirt and heels, as everyone makes cupcakes with their children. Even Anna
mothers,
Wintour didn't do that. And Lily, who's being quite tricky at that age and she's having trouble mothering, comes and she's got cupcake mix all over her hands and she puts her hands on her mum's skirt and ruins the skirt. And Charlotte goes into the pantry and cries, and she feels so ashamed that she's struggled for motherhood all these years and now she's having a moment where she's not really enjoying it. She's up against it. I think the child's not sleeping and so on. And she cries in the pantry. And I'm like, this is still where Charlotte goes to cry all these years later.
Goes to cry. Nice. I mean, yeah. I just had a twinge of jealousy to have a crying pantry. It would be the dream, a real dream.
Oh, in London, no one has a pantry.
If I ever move, I'm going to demand
no one.
Pantry. I'll have a pantry for the food, but then
no one has a
for the
walk-in pantry in London. There isn't the square footage. But that's the dream now, isn't it? To have a pantry to cry in.
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
The aspiration.
100%.
My husband always says, I'll know if I've ever really made it, if I'm ever really there, because I'll be able to afford to have a pool table and a room big enough to put it in. For us, it's now a crying pantry. When have we seen Carrie give feedback to another writer that she had a thing for?
Berger.
Yes.
Yeah, and she's learned from that, hasn't she? She just gives praise now.
Yes, because if she'd said...
What does she say about his, right, apart from the thrilling opening chapter of a biography?
Well, my dream would have been, she said, the opening chapter is thrilling, but you have Margaret Thatcher running all over town wearing a scrunchie. Margaret Thatcher would never wear a scrunchie. Man, you're lucky I came along because you know the men, but I know the ladies.
Yeah. And flick him on the forehead.
I absolutely would have given anything for Margaret Thatcher to be running all over town in a scrunchie, but no such luck. Carrie describes what is happening at the Miranda Enforced Fun party as now a birthday baby shower crossover because she's being forced to open gifts.
Yeah. Yes, go on. What's the question?
When Miranda and Charlotte have been in a enforced fun baby shower deadlock before now?
It was Miranda's baby shower
Yes.
that Charlotte organised and went against
And
all
how
of
did
her
Miranda feel
wishes.
about parties then?
Well, quite. She wanted just chicken. She wanted fried chicken.
Correct.
I can't remember what else she demanded, but yeah,
No
she didn't
stalks.
even.
No stalks, no baby paraphernalia, no games, no enforced fun of any kind. And she didn't even want the party. Charlotte was enforcing the
her
party.
to have
She
a
was like,
party,
look, then you won't have to go and buy all these things. And she's like, okay, that's an appeal that I don't have to do all this work of getting all this baby stuff. Fine.
Where has she gone?
And Charlotte was the one. Charlotte was the one with the enforced fun and the balloons and wanting things to be pink and all
Okay,
of that.
well, that at least makes sense. If they could have drawn attention to that and said, Carrie could have said, "Look at you! There was a time when you would have been the one saying none of this, and now because you love your friend so much, you're bringing her the fun that she wants."
That's what I think it could have been. She could have gone,
Yeah.
this is so unlike you.
Yes,
You hate
exactly.
enforced fun. And she was like, but Charlotte loves it and I love Charlotte.
There you go.
That's what she should have said.
Yeah.
Charlotte loves it and I love Charlotte.
And we would have loved that as the audience.
Yeah.
Just going, look, they love each other.
She'd said, this is what Charlotte would do for me. And she goes, and you would hate it. And she goes, exactly. But Charlotte would love it. And that's why I'm doing it for her.
Yeah.
And so then we get Miranda's character being Miranda's character. And not suddenly transforming into Fun Factory, but we see the love between old school female friendships. That's the evolution. Is I used to be rigid in the way I was, but now I realize that it's okay to change when
I had
a connection and
I had a conversation with someone because I'm friends with lots of my old school friends, and I remember when a bunch of us were together, somebody saying, can we all just scrap all of our old identities now? Can we scrap all of our old expectations? And people were like, oh God. And like, obviously that's not what happens, but there is, but it was good to sort of air it and say, you think that I turn up to everything completely ill prepared. And now look at me. I've got the moisturizer this time and you don't.
Yes.
And that sort of thing is enjoyable. And I think it's enjoyable for us as an audience because let's face it, this is not getting a new audience really, is it? I know they're trying, but it's not.
Yeah,
it's all the old Sex and the City people going, please give me, inject more into my veins, please.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not giving us what we want.
I guess what it is now is we don't want these people to have a life. So the other day, some writers and I went on a retreat, and that's become a really tight group. And we all like getting together and just seeing each other socially. And if someone can't come, everyone's like, no, it's not going to be the same without you. And they're like, oh no, I can't believe I'm not there. And yesterday, someone who couldn't come at the last minute said, I actually almost can't bear that you have a life without me, that you have a social life without me. And I said, if it helps, when you're not there, we just freeze like statues.
Yeah.
And
that's what he wants. Certainly what Carrie wants.
He carved out a window to come for 20 minutes because he couldn't stand it. And I love that. I love being in a group like that where it feels like if you're not there, people will want you there.
Yeah, it's different. I mean, and that is, still the Samantha-shaped hole as well.
And I think it's the reason we still watch this is it's like, I don't want them to have a life without me, even if it is. I don't want to know that life's gone on and I haven't been there.
I still need to find out what they're doing.
It's some weeks I'm like, if I wasn't doing this recap episode, I don't know that I wouldn't be in anymore.
You'd have to do it when you were ill,
I enjoy writing these recaps though, and I enjoy because they're fun, and I enjoy writing the rewriters room stuff. And I think if I didn't have that if I wasn't creatively engaging with it, I would struggle now. And I know some people are still watching it just to listen to this podcast and probably other podcasts.
Well, I think it's a sort of parasocial thing, isn't it? And we're all analysing and we're all on the internet talking about the things we love. And this is a massive historical family thing. As you say, it's problematic family. So I think probably it's not hate watching it quite, but it's watching it in order to talk to your friends about, can you believe they did this?
Yeah, you still go to the family reunion, even though you're like, oh my God.
This is going to be work.
But you've got to go with a sister who you really get on with. So you can stand in the corner together going, he's still like this.
Yeah.
I cannot believe he just said that. And so there is a kind of joy to the family reunion, even though, but only if you're there with somebody, or you can discuss it with somebody who gets it.
Yes.
And that's
the debrief,
what this podcast
the party
is for.
debrief, definitely.
It's the party debrief.
The party debrief. Fun party
There's still
debrief.
a line every now and again, like
yeah,
Carrie...
I've written down a couple.
Oh, great! You say
I am a person at this party.
Oh yes,
I really liked Harry going, like, sort of realizing how uninteresting he was. I have, what is it? The line about, I have a rule that I don't give gifts to people who own in New York.
I wrote that one
down.
So good.
And the woman who wears the turtleneck swimsuit, but she's got an amazing face. But these are nearly
she's
all
80, but her face is 50.
Yeah. She wears a turtleneck swimsuit in the pool, but her face. They're giving them all away to the side characters. I don't like, what are you doing? Why aren't you giving
Anthony gets great lines still.
Anthony does. Anthony, yeah.
But I think it might be also the way Anthony can deliver anything.
Yeah.
He's amazing. The other one I thought that I liked that Carrie said that felt a little bit old world. It wasn't massively funny, but it felt like old Carrie. When she was talking about breaking up with her first high school boyfriend, she said, he said he was into me, but it was all too much. Then she goes, I think that's my brand.
Yeah.
And I feel like it is her brand. Like this is Aiden. It's like, oh, it's all too much and I'm not, able to service it,
Yeah, bit of actual reflection.
Yeah, it felt like a fun Carrie,
real
interesting,
thing.
Introspective.
But Deborah, how desperate are we that we're jumping on the lines that actually feel like things they would say? I mean, that's
we're very desperate.
It's a low bar.
We're as desperate as Charlotte at 36. Going at times, flying by. Where's my man?
Where is he?
Where is he? I'm exhausted. I've been dating since I was 16. Where is he? Yeah. Is there anything else that stood out for you as particularly
in a good
fun
way?
or...
No, I don't think so.
Anything else that stood out for you as a horror show?
The baguette phone reminded me of, there was a burger phone in the cafe in Home and Away. Not in Second City, but in Home and Away. And that's where Bobby learned that Alan had died. And I always thought, oh God, I'm never going to have a fun phone because I don't want to hear really bad news on a fun phone. So I'm hoping that the baguette phone will come back and something really, if they do resolve any of this cancer stuff, it'll be via the baguette phone. That's what I've got.
That is the funniest thing, Margaret. You can't have a burger phone or a piano phone or anything, because if someone rings up and says
with bad news,
your loved one has died, and then you're talking into a hamburger like on Juno.
Yeah.
You're like, oh no, this is ridiculous now. This is undercutting
what
the tragedy.
is my life? Yeah.
I see. It makes sense.
Good.
Okay.
Oh, and I liked Maleficent. But I mean, the whole Patti LuPone thing, they didn't give her enough. There was a thing where Carrie says, she says, I think you have him wrong. Or maybe she says, maybe I have him wrong. And Carrie says, how do you have him? And she says something like, I don't want to go into it. And it's like, well,
I'd rather not say.
I'd rather not say. Well, that's a cop out. Give us some horrible lines. Give us some shitty, witty things to say, morons.
Well, she's now refusing to go back to Italy, so I think she's going to be.
She's going to be back. Well, no, and I hope so. I hope they give her some actual nastiness or some actual love and life. It
or
just
a
feels
song
a
at
bit
a karaoke.
Song,
for
God's
fuck's
sake, got Patti LuPone.
And
imagine having to do that in front of Patti LuPone. Maybe that's why none of the leads did it. I'm not singing in front of Patti LuPone.
But Sarah Jessica Parker started on Broadway. She was in Annie.
Yeah.
She was Annie on Broadway.
I don't remember her singing that I'm a Woman, Hear Me Roar very well.
No.
There was 4 of them singing and they didn't manage to sound as good as one person.
They were so unwilling to be there. They must have known how awful it was. And it was such a big payday, I think, that movie, but they must have looked at the script because it must have been paid for by the Abu Dhabi
it definitely was
tourism board, and it was just so culturally insensitive to the point of it should have been stopped. Baguette makes me think of the Fendi baguette. Do you remember she had a Fendi baguette bag?
Oh yeah.
Now
I
that
forgot about that.
is a tenuous Easter egg, I will admit.
Well, what's podcast for unless it's about tenuous Easter eggs?
I've got one more. When
Go
have we
on.
seen a personal shopper revealed before as the true buyer of all of the
what's
presents?
his
Yes.
Richard.
Yes.
Well, exactly. That was a really big deal. I mean, yeah, I found Charlotte's reaction to the personal shopper. I guess her husband has cancer and she has more things on her mind, but it would make you think, wouldn't it? It would make you go, oh, my husband's a bit of a liar.
Well, he's
and has been for years.
Yeah, he's bought me all these great gifts, but there was a woman called Bonnie that I've never been introduced to. It's a bit weird. I think having a personal
she might reflect
shopper
on it.
is not weird at that level of, wealth.
No, absolutely not. But you'd be honest. If you were Harry, you'd like to think you'd be honest about it.
You'd say, I talked to Bonnie about it, and I wasn't sure what to get you, but Bonnie said these were the most stylish things, and then I picked the colour because I thought,
exactly,
you'd do that,
exactly.
You'd say,
because the whole thing about Harry is that he's earthy and honest and whatever.
It feels a bit odd.
You want authenticity.
Yeah, I absolutely get that he's got a personal shopper. That
definitely
makes sense at that level.
Yeah, totally makes sense. But the deception is
that he's never even mentioned he's got a personal shopper. And
it reminds me of
you think he's bought out for you, picked out all the jewelry and stuff
every time. Yeah,
I mean, he's there in the shop. He's clearly choosing it with her.
Yeah. Oh yeah. My kids each have a favourite toy, and there is a spare of the toy that gets swapped out and swapped in. And they both have stumbled across this knowledge before, but we just don't ever talk about it.
Sorry?
It's a bit like that.
We're going to need another episode on this.
Okay.
A spare? What?
A spare of the beloved toy.
Oh, so you can wash it?
That if it got lost, it's just too precious. But also just to have a backup. But it has to be swapped in and out. Otherwise, there's one that's brand new and there's one that's
So they come home and they're like, where's Rabbit? It's bedtime. I've got to snuggle up to Rabbit.
No, Rabbit is always there at bedtime.
Yeah.
But they don't know which one it is,
but
really. They think there's only one.
Have they also got 2 interchangeable pet hamsters?
And fathers. It's weird.
Their father is, in fact, identical twins. Both of them
it's
wanted
just
to
easier,
be a father,
Deborah.
but neither of them wanted to be a full-time dad. And they're both actors. They go on the road. So we just
no one will cope with me full-time.
Are you, in fact, just one woman, Margaret Cabourn-Smith? Or have I been meeting you and your clone over a period of many years?
I am actually one of those people that everyone's always saying, you're exactly like my friend. Oh my God, you're so like my friend. It's sort of insulting.
Oh my God, I'm talking to a
deep
fake.
So I might be, I might be a deep fake.
You are AI.
I'm exhausted.
Well, this is a bombshell revelation at the end of this show. Any other things you want to say about And Just Like That, either this week's episode or in general?
I would still like to be in it if anyone's listening.
Wow.
Do you know, I have worked with Dolly Wells,
who
told me an extraordinary, who plays Joy, for people who don't know.
Who was in Doll and M
when I worked with her. Yes, she's so great. And she once told me an incredible story about being covered in blood in a church. So if you meet her, do ask her about that. Okay. But it did make me think, I'm quite close to being in And Just Like That.
Well, if you and she would ever like to come back and do this podcast together so Dolly can give us all the real goss.
Juice.
She may not wish to
that would be good.
Give us the
she's
goss,
not going to, is she?
Because she may be like...
I think we've been a bit rude also.
Yeah, she may be like,
realistically.
I really like my job. It's a really good job. And
I'm all right for putting it at risk.
Yeah, I think she probably... I think we've been too rude on this show to have anyone on. I mean, you've got to be a fashion...
You're right.
I am thinking about doing a deconstruction podcast of the new Lena Dunham Too Much show.
Oh, yeah.
I think there's quite a lot of interesting things in that.
Yes, I haven't seen any of that yet.
But
I did a rewatch of Girls quite recently. And
it's very brilliant.
Really holds up.
In its own way.
Yeah.
It's not... I know people have pointed out its problematic elements, but it is incredibly imaginative and
Oh no, I definitely want my
16-year-old
to watch it.
Oh, so interesting,
packed full of insight. Yeah,
absolutely. And Lena Dunham always does say, no, these people are not meant to be. They're not meant to be aspirational. She's like, these are young women from privileged backgrounds who don't know the value of a dollar, and that's what it's about. And I think sometimes people miss the irony, but it hit me in the face like a train. Anyway, Margaret Cabourn-Smith, you have been absolutely a joy. Do you have anything to plug?
Oh, well, I mean, my own podcast, which you were the first guest to come on, Crushed by Margaret Cabourn-Smith. We should get Dolly Wells to come on that.
Oh, good idea. And it's a wonderful show, and it's all about your crushes, and by that we mean
talk to funny people about
unrequited crushes.
Love.
So it can be somebody you saw on the television when you were 5. It can be the boy you sat next to in maths, or the girl that you.
Deborah revealed that she thought Paul McCartney was in love with her.
Listen. Did I say that?
Just go and listen to the episode.
Did I say that?
To explain that? No, but it's much funnier to say that.
I made it clear that I had an interaction with Paul McCartney twice. Once when he was on stage and I was at his concert, and another time at a party. And there's a story there. There's a story. But I also took
there is a story there. Go and listen to it.
I also took a lot about my sixth form math music teacher.
Yes.
Leighton Doyley Gilmore. He still hasn't got in touch.
I'm so sorry.
Disappointing
before
for everyone.
Death.
Yeah, it'll happen. One day he and I will hook up. Oh, did I tell you though that I don't think I knew this when I came on the podcast. I did a show in Australia and referenced him, and there was a friend of mine from I haven't seen since high school who had turned up with a bunch of other school friends to see me because they remembered me from school in the audience. And one of them told me afterwards she actually did go out with him. Yeah. She repeated a year, so technically was old enough, but she was still,
Yeah, that's always a phrase you want to hear, isn't it? Technically, she was old enough.
Yeah, but they had a bit of a snog.
It's a phrase I dread.
She went out on a few dates with him. He was very young, to be fair. I think she was 18 and he was 23. It was...
Yeah. Okay.
Look, I'm a feminist, but I was really jealous. I was seething with envy, and I know that's terrible. This is it. But I was seething with
I totally
envy
get
for the
it.
17-year-old me.
Yeah,
and I know it's wrong, and I know it's bad.
Well, yeah, and you should be grateful, really.
But
I get it. But also,
it was
thank
a terrible
God that wasn't
time
you.
to hear this.
It won't have been good
news because that's all I wanted, and I look back now, and she said, "Oh, we were just messing around, had a couple of snogs and things like that." But I don't know. I think there was more to it.
Wow.
And
well, I'll get her on the podcast.
Oh, I definitely think she would never say it in public. Absolutely understand why not.
For the best. Yeah.
All right, my darling.
Thank you so much.
Tom, cut out some of this faff of me going, all right, my darling, of course. I've got all the closing titles. Ready?
Tom knows what he's doing. He's going to cut out most of this.
2/3 of this podcast is on the cutting room floor. You have been listening to The Guilty Feminist Watchers, and just like that with me, Deborah Frances-White, and my very special guest, Margaret Cabourn-Smith. The producer for The Spontaneity Shop is Tom Salinsky. The Guilty Feminist is part of the Acast Creator Network, and just like that is on Max in the United States and Sky Comedy and Now in the UK. See you next week for episode 8. Maybe it'll bring a story. You just don't know.